So if you are just joining us for the first time today, very warm welcome. You've missed a very entertaining first session of our first match. 𝗡𝗶𝗴𝗵 getting the 7-5 advantage over Kevin George, and it is only an advantage. We are playing races to 13 and 12 frames to be played in our first session. 50 minutes on the match clock. That's just to keep us on track. There is no dip down to 15 seconds a shot in the first session, and it will be 50 minutes or 12 frames that we will play. And it does create storylines and drama for me. That first session was absolutely fantastic. A beautiful mix of outrageous quality and bizarre mistakes.
Yeah, indeed. And I don't know how well Анthony Jeffers is prepared for this match, but I just went nip to the toilet and he had all his clothes out on the floor and the gents getting changed. Well, and this is about 5 minutes ago, so he's
well, I think the
race to get in the arena.
I can answer that question for you, Tony.
Yeah,
very brief conversation with him, and he said he had his car broke down on the way to the venue.
Oh, you're joking?
So which is why he was, he's not late in terms of his match was due for 11:15, but players know that you're essentially just following on from the previous match if you're on the TV table. And yeah, he was having to get that sorted. So,
well, then there's a case of coming the day before. Harsh, but true.
You were well prepared, Tony. You were here very early yesterday.
I was here last week.
Jon's a fantastic. Jon's a sort of player where this format just plays into his hands because he has such a high floor. He plays he'll just go about his business, and he'll just, well, how about that? How about that? I still stand by everything I just said. That is a very, very surprising miss. That may be the easiest ball I've ever seen Jon McAllister miss, actually.
Yeah, I'd say that as well.
Yeah. That shot aside, I will tell you that Jon has an unbelievably high floor, plays at an extremely high level, never seems to dip. It's what allows him to win so many tournaments, and he has done throughout his career.
That's the thing. I think if you look at all the top professionals, and I'm going to include Tom Cousins in this as well, Jon McAllister's game, all the rest of them can drop a little bit lower. That man's never dropped.
Doesn't drop, no. You don't know, and he has such a good temperament in terms of he will come to the table. He's just made a terrible mistake. He'll come to the table as though it's never happened on his next visit. He is very, very good at doing that.
Yeah, I mean he's ice cold. He's stone faced. I mean, if you walked into arena and you asked him, he said, one of those players is 10-0 up. Guess which one it is? And if you looked at Jon, he wouldn't look any different if he was 10-0 down or 10-0 up.
Anyway, he gets a second bite at it here. Sure of that. I guess it wouldn't have made too much difference. It is probably to his benefit that red stays on the table, allowing him to just reconnect everything. If it drops in, he would have had to play a much bigger positional shot off that one.
Yeah, going back to saying about Jon and Yellen and Theo there.
He's got a lot to say, as Theo.
He has. He said you should have hit that a bit harder, Dad. But going back to Jon McAllister, he's the one player that you can't sit there and wait for him to play a bad shot because he doesn't play. You've got to go out and beat him. Where some players can have a nightmare and they make it easy for you if they're having a bad day. But you've got to go out and beat this man.
Yeah, big shot though. He's on the double. That's what he played for.
Ooh.
And he's...
oh, he's not, is he?
Oh, nearly made it in the corner. So a slightly slow start here for Jon. We've given him the big build-up and say he doesn't make mistakes. Well, he's had 2 chances in this frame and he's not got out and won it yet. Opportunity for Ánthony Jeffers to just get off to a stronger start here. Needs a little nudge. Not perfect, but he'll... Oh, it's far from perfect, actually. It's just gone awkward enough, isn't it?
Yeah, and I don't think he can stretch all the way. I think he's going to need some equipment out to help him get over that yellow. Mo's refusing it.
Oh dear, this is tough. I always fear for the referee in these situations. He might ask a question of him here.
Yeah.
Looked okay. It's an excellent shot. We'll want to leave plenty of angle here. More than that, I would have suggested.
This has to be pumped now, and I'll tell you what, if he's going to get this in and get on that black, this is going to have to be hit very hard indeed.
Yeah.
And that was always the danger.
That wasn't the bad shot. The bad shot was the one before.
Yeah, it was.
Just had to leave high. He had to leave the high angle and just let the natural work. And on his third opportunity in the frame, Jon McAllister has got the win in it. For everything you said in that first frame, Tony, about Jon, you know, you're going to have to go out and beat Jon. He's not going to give you anything to build on. He's given him there, and he hasn't taken it. And that,
nope.
And you are 100% correct, because Jon will just build into a rhythm. Once he finds that, you know, he'll just play that level, and he'll just keep churning them out. And you're going to have to go out there and
I always call him Juggernaut Jon for me, because it's just relentless. It just keeps coming down the track, and there's no stopping it.
Great start for the safe cracker. It's going to be a naughty dry break, because that was beautiful. He may not hit a back break all weekend long in terms of quality and power. That cue ball straight up the middle of the table. Spread them far and wide, and nothing falls for him.
Yeah, no reward there for Jon. I say he does have an incredibly good break, Jon McAllister, and obviously to be in the top 8, top 5 of the pros, that's one weapon you do require.
It's not a very good layout, as good as quality as the break was. This red at the bottom of the table, now that one's gone especially, is now a major problem ball.
It's the old thing, Simon, attack him early.
Yeah, it looks like he's trying to find an angle, taking the red to bottom corner, but you've got to have the absolute perfect angle. Otherwise you can't get there. You're playing for, you don't even have a ball's margin of error playing that way.
I think he goes wide here if he plays it with topspin.
It goes miles wide.
Yeah, can he get over to the side rail and come back off there into that yellow?
It looked like he was trying to be very precise and play for it on the going straight into it, but he's got to use the side cushion here.
Needed a bit of right-hand side on that as you play it. So things getting worse for Anthony. Oh, tremendous pot.
Tremendous pot that's not going to help
No,
at
it's
all.
not. He's thrown everything but the kitchen sink at this finish, but he's now in a heap of trouble.
Jon's in complete control of this frame now. Oh, don't foul.
Is he going to get there? Yeah,
He's going to get there. No attempt to pot that. Just manoeuvring his pieces at the moment.
2 lengths of the table, doubles with the reds.
Why not?
Well, that red will go off the cushion and off that yellow at the top, I think. But I mean, obviously, you have to be really precise.
I mean, you've got to take something on. You're not going to win this tactically.
No.
It's a good shot. It's not going to do him any good, though, unfortunately. When you get this far behind in a tactical exchange. That's why we say if you feel you've got, you know, a 1 in 100 swing at something, you kind of should take it on, really. Mind you, there's other situations where you just want to hang in for as long as possible and make it as awkward as you possibly can, and that might be the way that you win the frame. But
oh,
that is a great shot.
Yeah, applauded by Jon McAllister as well. A tap of the leg. Now then, this is a back double into the same corner pocket. The black will pass the yellow if you did make this. I mean, this beats 𝗡𝗶𝗵𝗄 for silly finish. This one, if he gets this, Anthony Jeffers.
You can see the 8 ball just goes. Not the full pocket, but it goes. Treble? No. Jon's not really on a clean ball here.
Just played that little plant up the rail. You can push the cue ball behind the 2 yellows, so even if this doesn't go, he still leaves Anthony snookered like he could it clean.
You could actually see the one nearest the pocket, so it was fine.
Yeah, I didn't think you could get past there, but, well, fancy Jon McAllister not to make a mistake here. It's not ideal. Just in about 2nd gear at the moment, Jon.
Played that nicely, allowed it to drop it. He gave every chance for that to fall in. Potted that very much on the thick side of the pocket, and it couldn't have landed too much more awkward than it has.
Does he just roll into it and play a little safety, Simon?
It's probably the more controllable shot, isn't it? Anything more aggressive than that would have been a high risk.
Well, I like he stopped the straight up and down shot, so it's going to have to come across onto the side rail. In an ideal world, Anthony clips off the far side of this red and gets a cue ball at the top of the table.
Yeah, he wanted the top side, not the bottom side.
Exactly.
If he gets the top side, he takes control.
But unfortunately for Anthony, as you said, Simon, it was the wrong side. And he's going to be on the wrong side of a 2-0 scoreline, 2 balls time.
You said it. This is without Jon even getting going. You know, this is a slow start by Jon McAllister standards. And he's still 2-0 in front. Looks like it's going to be Anthony Jeffers' turn to come up dry off a very good break.
Yeah, disappointment there in Anthony's face, and you can see why, because this is a really good thump. Plenty of movement with the reds and the yellows, but nothing has fallen for Anthony, and it gives Jon McAllister choice at the table. Well, well, well. A bit of early morning rust.
What time's Jon McAllister turning up?
Yeah.
This really is we talk about his, you know, his floor being very high. He really hasn't turned up yet this morning.
Well, Anthony is helping him though.
clever. He would have been in trouble if both reds had fallen there.
He would have been, yeah.
Stayed on the table for him. It's still a slightly awkward shot, this. Pot obviously not, but the positional side of this shot is far from guaranteed.
Yeah, well, he's stretching. He has to hit this thing, and then to try and keep control of the cue ball from a very close position to that red, sort of bumping the cue ball off that knuckle. But if he played this wrong, he could be bang in trouble. And that's pretty good, because this is his most awkward red, and he's on it.
There is a path out as well.
Yeah.
Just slightly overdone it. So the frustration there for Jon is normally in that situation you just play that with a little bit more left-hand side and hit the cushion above the centre pocket, but he couldn't do that because the yellow was in the way. That was the line, that was the gap he had. He's overhit the shot, leaving him awkward. And he's still awkward. It's a great recovery pot. Still a long way from perfect.
That's a beautiful shot there from Jon McAllister.
That cue ball just kept going, didn't it?
Yeah, deceptively quick. A couple of times I've thought balls were going to be short, and they've kept going. Didn't want that nudge, and he's snooking himself. Look of disgust there into this background there from Jon McAllister.
Very un-Jon McAllister-like.
I think he's made more mistakes in these opening exchanges today than I think he's made all season. Oh! Wow. The pace kept it out.
Yeah, that looked like it was going to take the dip, didn't it?
Oof. Incredibly close. Great effort there from Jon.
Yeah. So normally Jon's so good with his cue ball control, and the game looks easy. It just shows you go out of line by a fraction here or there, the game can get away, and it's done that. Essentially, third straight frame here. He's got away with the first two.
Oh.
And he might get away with this one as well. Can he see the potting angle? Not to bottom left. What can he do with this one? Might be a little bend. I don't know if he can go the other way. I think it's the little bend, isn't it?
Or off the back rail.
Boom, back rail. He's got very close on the last kick shot. Got it the wrong way round.
Yeah.
Time running.
Well, it certainly hasn't flowed, this match thus far.
Yeah, been very surprising. That will make Anthony feel an awful lot better. He has one on the board. It's only a counter clearance, but he'll just feel that little bit better out there, just getting to flow through a few balls. Very strange 20 minutes for Jon. This time he makes a ball off the break. And is this where he finds his rhythm? The layout is lovely.
Yeah, you kind of think one break and an out from Jon McAllister, and it'll be almost like a reset, and so right now I'm here. Again, a funny nudge there into that yellow. It's just, it's not got his cue ball going at all, Jon. And there you see it, another mistake from McAllister. That one's incredible there. I thought that was going to be an easy run out there for Jon. And he's just not got the cue ball at all.
It's just very surprising.
That looks
I've
wide.
known Jon for a long time now, and I'm rare to see him have a start to a match like this. He's normally so consistent.
Well, he might have had a bit of a get out of jail free card there again. McAllister's. Anthony missed that long yellow into the corner.
Another one. It's just not happening.
Incredible. Incredible what we're seeing.
Gives us all hope. One of the best players in the world at it right now.
I'm off to get me cue.
That was so often we get to see these guys make the game look ridiculously easy, and it isn't. Jon's certainly showing us that right now.
Well, Anthony tried to get into that little cluster of 3 yellows there, and he's failed. He's off again. And this time the cue ball's not going to help him, is it? Nope. Well, well, well.
Yeah.
Well, Jon McAllister to win the frame, take 4, is it?
Yeah.
Feels like it.
Every frame's taken 3-4 visits
yeah.
a time for whoever's won it. And we're going to hit the halfway mark just about in this frame, and we're only going to be four frames in. 8 still to go in the session. We may not see them all the way this is going.
And the thing is, I've never seen Jon miss so many balls and make so many mistakes, and he's going to be 3-1 up.
Well, is he?
Is he?
I think, see, for me, that's another mistake.
I mean,
in playing it the way he played it. Why wouldn't you roll that in and leave the cue ball on the left cushion, so that then you can just let the cue ball float out on the sort of what you'd end up tracking the natural line.
He's all at sea with a cue ball. It's just cut back into the top corner.
And it goes.
Well, a very good black in the end there for Jon McAllister, but my word, didn't he have to work hard for that?
We've got 8 frames left in the session. And even at 3-1 down, you just feel if Anthony can find a little bit of rhythm, he's an opportunity to really get into this, but a dry break won't help. We both agree here in the commentary box at some point Jon is going to click into...
It's his cue ball control. I've never seen it so bad.
Well, I question, maybe he's not practicing on the CPBA now used by Ultimate Pool. I wonder if he's still on the Superfine.
But you made a very good point in the last frame. Why did he play that last red into the corner, playing a screw shot when it's just a natural angle to knock it in and just roll the cue ball off the rail?
Well, yeah, you've got ball in hand, so you take the one to left centre and just let the cue ball fall onto the left-hand side, and then you play the one into the corner half ball, and you probably play it with a trace to make sure you hit the middle of the cushion, but you're tracking the line for the 8
The
ball.
screw shot's the harder shot to play.
Yeah, and Jon is a player, if I was advising someone to learn the game, go out there and watch Jon play and his decision-making. He's normally, absolutely on point with all of that sort of stuff. So very surprised.
Nice shot there, though. That's more like the Jon McAllister we know. But he's had the balls in an easy position in this and failed to knock them in. That's a friendly nudge.
Another sign that he's not got the table yet. Not got that wasn't the line he was trying to find. would like the cue ball to stop a little bit short of where it is. It comes down the clean window then, may just accept distance.
You're sort of just missing the yellow that's on the bottom rail there with the cue ball. Just wants to just glide past it and have the black into the middle. Okay, play straight into it.
Into it with sides.
I think
when
if
it
you
hits,
kept
it spins across, yeah.
Yeah, clever way to play it.
That was very, very good. And that is a little bit more like it from Jon McAllister. And we'll see Christophe Lambert and Cohen Bradford in our fourth match of the day. And we will see second session action following that before we turn our attention to the last 64 as we see Jon McAllister going in off.
Ball in hand from ball.
Those wanting to know what we got coming up tonight, it is the last 64, and we already know that we are going to see the #1 player, Tom Cousins. He's taking on Scott Pope. Chris Melling is taking on the winner of James Croxton and 𝗪𝗚𝗃𝗵𝗵.
Red balls in play.
He always looked a tight little red into that middle there for Anthony, and he's handed the table back to Jon McAllister. Nothing really to go out there. I think he'll just play safe.
I mean, it's horrible, isn't it, on yellows? And
That was a bit loose as well.
yeah, he's left the red, hasn't he? Maybe not. Going by Anthony's reaction, he's just got there.
Well, he's hit the red coming out. Jon McAllister now looking to see if that's a plant into the middle bag. If it is, there is a chance here for Jon to finish this rack off and get himself into a 5-1 lead. And he does make that plant. And then you sort of look at this and think it's all about the two balls on the left-hand rail.
Another one. The cue ball's just
Unbelievable.
I mean, he's not trying to move that more than a few inches, and it's gone more than twice as far as he wanted.
Well, he's been short and long. It's not the same sort of mistake where you keep landing short because you're not got the pace of the table. It's a mixture. He's going to try and play this cut up into the top left-hand corner and try and bump the other yellow off the rail. Oh, he's played that well.
It's a brilliant recovery shot.
I think he'll screw all the way over to the right-hand cushion here with this. No, he should have rolled it in.
Yeah, accepting what he's got. I thought he was going to do the same as what you said there.
Maybe he thought he was borrowing a little bit of that pocket and thought it might spit out, but anyway. This black for Jon McAllister. In it goes, and that is now... Is it? Oh,
my
wow.
word.
I was about to say a 5-1 lead, and it's not. It's 4-2.
I mean, that's ridiculous.
Well, you can't legislate for that. You just can't.
He's played in two cushions to hold the white on the reds, and, well, couple of kisses later, he is giving away the frame.
Well, he's got a good split out of that, Anthony. Just looking at the starting ball. He's going to be stretching over that red, playing the yellow into the bottom left-hand corner.
This would be a good time for a break clearance. Have the best moment in the match for him, right on the back of a very poor moment for Jon McAllister, and get back within one. This would be a good time.
If you can get rid of that yellow on the right-hand side of the table early doors, then it should be formality.
Just got a little deep in it. Would have loved the cue ball to be an extra 6 inches further right.
Can he drop it into the middle? Has he got enough angle to do that?
Possibly. Might be what he's played for here. Not as close to it as he would have liked, but if you are going to play the drop in the middle, you'd play it now because you've got the yellow over the top left as your next ball. He's not playing it.
Well, we know his intentions now. Just needs enough angle to get that cue ball back out as well.
Well, that was the problem. That to me is, if he has to force this and get the cue ball, even to get it out 8 inches, you know, and risk the pot, then you should have played it previously, where you just have to drop it in dead weight. Dealt with it well, did force it in. He's got out far enough.
Yeah, just checking that yellow goes past the red in the top right. That's where we'll be going after the one in the centre. Now you see the path of the second yellow. Just got the cue ball off enough there. We can just dig down a little bit now and stop the cue ball. So cue up in the air a bit.
This has been very good for Anthony. It really is on the back of Jon's mistake. This 8 ball for the break clearance. In it goes. Great moment. His best moment in the match.
Well, that's a fair break.
Someone says, how dare you not do what I want to? Have some of that. Balls flying in everywhere. But that actually hasn't left the greatest of opportunities.
Yeah, the problem for both sets is the left-hand cushion. So it's where Jon feels that he's going to be easier to get control of that side of the table, and that's the colour he'll take. And he's chosen the reds because there's more reds up at that top part to get an angle. He's just got it as well. I think he's got the angle where he can bump this red into the centre. Or we could play it even off the red and try and manufacture an angle to go into those two that are close to the left-hand cushion. Gets those out in the open, and well, you'd like to think he should finish from here.
He's got another good shot to play here. The plant isn't too much of a problem, but got to judge where the red's going and what he's on next.
He's on the right side of that red, though, that he's going to play into first. If he's on the other side, I think it makes it a bit more awkward. I think this way you can actually steer this one across and bring the cue ball out with it.
It's okay. He still hasn't got it perfect.
He's got a little snip into the middle bag here. He can control the cue ball into the red below him, or even go into the black ball.
It's still not perfect. It's one of those, he's had this in the whole match where he's just never been able to get the cue ball where he wanted to make life easy and put together the pattern with the control. He's always working. And he's not on the potting angle. Needed just that slightly fuller contact or slide by it.
He's having a long look at this.
I don't think he's on the potting angle here. I don't think he's close.
I don't know if he's thinking he could dink round the 8-ball, but
what else has he got? Can he see enough to play a double?
really thin cut back.
Really thin cut back?
Neither.
Safety shot. Well, if Anthony can see the yellow at the table, then he should be able to take control of this tactical
I
exchange.
think he could play half ball off the one that's to the right of him. Get the cue ball behind the 3 yellows up there.
Yeah, same difference. He's got control here, 4-2. Played that thicker than I thought he would. I thought he'd play it thinner so the yellow stayed nearer the pocket, because that yellow's now in an awkward position.
Yeah, I think I'd like to play quite thin with the left-hand side and come off the top rail and behind the 2 as well.
Yeah, yeah. He's might have left an edge here. He did leave an edge, but he's got away with it. And his yellow that we questioned whether he'd put it a bit awkward is now back into nice position. And, well, you won't get a better opportunity than this to go all square. He's looking at the yellow up the table, but this is a big shot. I thought he'd go right centre and get better on it. But he's decided to go for it and rolls it in. And what a good decision that is now. Well, rolls in a good one and then misses a bad one.
It's what he's left, though.
Yeah, nothing.
But he should not be missing a straight ball like that, to be fair.
Yeah. You just don't want to give these great players another visit to the table when you've got it there.
No.
Don't get me wrong. I mean, Jon can have 10 goes from here and not get out or not have anything, but you just don't want to give him the opportunity to make something happen.
It wasn't that far away.
It wasn't, exactly. Jon's always had that big shot making in his locker as well. I remember when the first time I saw him play, he pulled off a 5 cushion shot with a margin of error of nothing and landed perfect. And I thought, this guy's a real player. And that was back when he was a very young man. He's always had that sort of shot making ability.
Yeah, I agree.
Although that time round it was a kind of bit of hit and hope, but that's what you have to resort to sometimes.
Yeah, I've been fortunate enough to be on the commentary on, I think, 3 of his wins on the tour. And when he's won those tournaments, he's been absolutely, just his level was incredible. Some of the finishes he was taking out was just unbelievable. But incredible this from Anthony Jeffers now, though, to be 4 each.
Yeah. 4-4 from what could have been, should have been, was almost 5-1. And it did not take him long to do exactly the same with 𝗏𝗏𝗏. Early on was in a lot of tight matches, a lot of 6-red shootouts, and had to learn a new version of the game, but it did not take him long to become a relentless winner.
Yellow balls in play.
4 frames left. 12:20, 3 frames after this. Current pace, we're going to be there or thereabouts. Getting them all in. So,
Yeah, it was just sort of the first 3 or 4 frames that took
Yeah.
all the time, where there was like 3 or 4 misses each. And a bit of, well, I wouldn't say tactical battle, but it was just a couple of messy racks as well on top.
just thinking that we talked in the last match a lot about kind of the mental mini sessions. Right now it's there in front of you, isn't it? 4-4 with 4 to play. Can you get 7-5 in front? Can you win 3 of the next 4?
Nice pot, but where's he going to land? He's okay. That was a bit if in the lap of the gods with the cue ball from Anthony Jeffers. But he can roll this into the centre bag. That's all he needs to do. Nice and softly.
Not going to make the fall.
Well, Jon McAllister back at the table. possibly went through his mind that he could be trailing the next time he comes to the cloth, but he's not, and he has the opportunity to try and force himself back in front in this match. It's been, well, by Jon's sort of standards, it's been error-strewn. I think from Jon's point of view, I think if you asked him now, what would he take at the end of this first session, is just to be in front.
Yeah, so I mean, that's it. The goal is there, isn't it? 3 of the next 4. Jon hung his head the minute he hit that shot. He thought he'd roll it was going to come down on a poor line and go too far, but he's pulled up just in time. He's on this ball, and that's perfect. Looks to be anyway. Is he happy with the 8 ball off the yellow in the centre, the way he's gone about this? There was no attempt to leave an angle to do anything else.
It's exactly what he's playing, as you see him get down there and just cued the 8 at that yellow. Seeing where he wants to be, which is pretty much dead straight on it. So black off the yellow into the centre to get his nose back in front. And no mistakes this time from Jon McAllister.
One thing he has done well is hit the break brilliantly in the match. Always does. This time the cue ball not as under control as it often is for him. Close to the corner pocket, but stays on the table.
Well, that was a nice shot there from McAllister, potting that red and using that yellow to bump those 2 reds apart. And now just look at the reds. They are at Jon McAllister's mercy. And this really should be 6-4. Just that one shot there opened, well, it opened a lot up.
Yeah, it looked like it was going to be a fiddly finish, didn't it? And one shot later, it looks wide open. Expect Jon to have to make it, and it wasn't. You know, it was just a nice, clever shot to play. Red goes top left. That's the pocket he played for it on. It was a beautiful little touch to come across with the side to get here to make the pattern really simple.
Yeah, he's got such a good touch, Jon McAllister. He doesn't get enough credit for that because you know he's a big potter and he's got a colossal break, but he's got all the shots in the locker when required. And is he just now, as you see another one, just gently with side, has he negotiated those stormy waters that were early in the match? Is this the best of Jon McAllister now coming out?
Certainly the best of him in the match. Back-to-back visits to get himself 2 clear once again. 2 still to play, 6:40 on the clock. All square. Win at least one of them and keep yourself really on the heels of Jon. Break clearance here, set yourself up.
I think from Jon's perspective, let's say he loses these next 2 and he comes out levels at the end of this session, he can look back and think he's probably had one of the worst starts to a match that he's had in living memory, and he's still not behind.
And he's guaranteed not to be behind. And that's
it.
A really, really big point. That was tricky for Anthony. He was kind of limited on the break. That's all he could go at, and you could see it visibly frustrated with what he'd left. But actually, that wasn't that challenging a layout at all, because that wasn't the trickiest of shots to the top left.
No.
And the two reds that look awkward near the top left-hand corner, top right-hand corner, one of the left-hand one goes off the yellow, and the right, and that opens up the right-hand one. So if he makes that shot to the corner, you'd expect him to get out. Poor shot, really.
He's got a bit of problem with that red that's in the middle of the table there. He tried to come into it full ball when he potted his first red, and he sort of glanced off it, and he's had a good look to see if it creeps past into the middle. I don't think it does. And now it's got even harder. Can he cut the one into the top left and now sort of either get behind the red or bump into it?
Quite possibly. Yeah, it was just a graze, wasn't it, early on in the visit?
Extension cord.
If he doesn't feel like he could do that, he could just leave it last ball and get underneath it. Need two good positional shots to do that. He's played underneath it now. Oh, that's a beautiful shot and a beautiful nudge as well. Without that little flick, it was going to be very awkward.
Yeah. But John will know the importance now is he knocks in these three balls, he's guaranteed to be in front coming into the later second session.
And he has the break in the final frame of the session as well. Yeah, it's a very good ending. If Jon can get this one on the board and obviously deal with the last, but to win these three with 3 straight visits will be very, very good here for Jon McAllister. Very good. This is just high quality temperament more than anything else for me. There's no doubt, we've both been saying it, that was as poor as we've seen Jon play for a long time for the first 6-7 frames of this match, and didn't really show much emotion. A wry smile when he went in off on the
Yeah, you can't legislate for that one. That was unlucky.
Other than that, you see nothing from him, and he just goes about his business, and then it gets tight and tense, and he just does 3 straight visits to the table, and all of a sudden he's 3 clear, 1 to play, gets out of the 8-4 off a bad session. He's a very, very happy man. There's more control on that break from him, less power, and no ball's going to drop. It's a messy right-hand side of the table, especially on the 2 yellows. If he goes reds, does the 8-ball have a home? Probably does.
Yeah, I don't think you can see a yellow, so he had no option.
Yeah,
but
he had no choice, did he?
To go reds.
I was thinking more, do you go reds or do you go safe, was my kind of thought process. Red off the yellow or red off the red if he can see it? I don't think he can see it. Red off the yellow should do the work. Not quite.
No, it's still left the one ball that you want out of the way. It's still there. Has he stuck to this yet? Does he snooker himself?
He might have snookered himself. Yeah. Can't believe that's unfortunate. But
yeah.
He was playing on the bottom one, and I mean he's the tiniest a margin away from being on it. It hadn't opened up the problem red, but yeah, not to be on anything was tough there.
Well, he's hit a red and hit a cushion, so it won't be ball in hand for Jon McAllister. But what he has done, the red he's hit, he's just moved out the way of that yellow. And as you can see, it goes straight into that right-hand middle now. So he's actually just opened everything up for Jon McAllister, unfortunately for Anthony.
Yeah, that won't be lost on him either.
Well, from 4-all and a chance for Anthony Jeffers to go 5-4 up, it's looking very much like McAllister is going to open up a 4-frame lead to go into the second session, which is quite incredible when you take into account the early part of this match. He's got to have to be delighted, is Jon.
Weathered a storm, hasn't he?
He has.
He'll know that he wasn't quite there, and he'll also have a 12-frame window on the table, a 12-frame session on the table where he's going to feel so much better with that cue ball. That's why the cue ball's been a lot more on point over the last 4 frames. Having said his cue ball's on point, he's slightly offline here.
Would you just scrape this yellow off the red into the middle? I think I would.
Jon had just enough angle. That's what you can do as well on this cloth. That wasn't too far off straight, and he's just, you know, able to use the pocket and use the cue ball. Get quite a lot of movement.
He wanted to be straight on that yellow, and he come off that second cushion, and the cue ball's not been that friendly to him. It's okay though, but missable.
Well, this 8-ball to make it 4 straight visits to the table from 4-all.
Well, a good morning's work for Jon McAllister.
Showing his quality. That really is high class. And you may notice the scoreline here is not as we left it. We're about to get the second session underway. The score is now 8-5 to Jon McAllister. We left this match at 8-4 after the first session, but Jon McAllister failed to turn up for his start time, his call time for this match, and was put on the clock. And he lost 1 frame because of being late for the match. So yeah, that's the situation. Will that be a factor? Jon has a great temperament, so I suspect he will deal with this well, but it's certainly an opportunity for Anthony Jeffers to hurt him, and unfortunately that missed pot is not what he wanted to see.
McAllister, as you said, Simon, to give up that opening frame this second session, but he's very quick to get to the table and try and get that next one on the board. And very quickly indeed, Jon McAllister is going to do just that. Down goes the black ball, and McAllister now moves 9-5 in front.
And we get to see Chris Melling as well. Haven't seen who's won the match between. Well, the match won't be over yet for who he plays, Jaspal Singh Bumatra or Jimmy Croxton, but it will be good to see Chris Melling back in action. Haven't seen enough of him yet this year.
No, he's been jetting off around the place and played in the World 9-ball in Saudi.
When we have seen him this year, we haven't seen much from him, but we haven't seen him at that many tournaments as well. So this is a tournament, obviously he's defending champion, but also a tournament for him to really get his teeth into, and he can probably deal with a slightly slower start this year than in this event than perhaps you can in a Pro Series match.
Yeah, he had a bad Bolton the last tour event,
yeah.
Chris. I think Jimmy Croxton put him out of one of those events as well, early doors. Well, Anthony Jeffers, he came out, he qualified at McNamara's, I believe, in an 80-man field to qualify for this. Bit short again from Jon McAllister, and he had problems with his cue ball in the opening session. He got away with a few. Well, major problem with the two yellows that are stuck together here for Jon McAllister. Looking at it from here, I think it's just going to have to play this yellow into the bottom right and then maybe double his next yellow.
Is it a big pocket treble?
Yeah, that's on as well. He's gone for the treble like he suggested, Simon. Not worked out. So Jeffers now will be looking at playing long plant here. So he plays this long red into that cluster at the bottom of the table. And I want to push the yellow out of the way of these reds. In it goes, and that looks pretty good. He can just cut this red in and bump into the yellow, land on the red at the bottom of the table.
Yeah, that should be good enough to get this frame on the board. Back within in 3. And this black for 9-6. And in it goes. Anthony Jeffers hanging on to Jon McAllister's coattails. And he's gone dry, disappointed. Decent split. Plenty of balls moving around the table, but no friends on the break. So Jon McAllister comes to the table, and it looks pretty inviting indeed on reds. McAllister, he'll be just happy to share frames now with Jeffers. That will get him over the line in comfortable fashion. Got a shot to play here. I don't know if he was trying to go direct in or whether he wanted to go cushion in. Maybe he couldn't get there directly. He had to get quite a lot of side on off the cushion. But tricky shot, although it's a big pocket. Makes it clean. Wanted to make it clean as well because he didn't want to move that yellow down on top of the red in the bottom half. So important he kept it clean.
He's in good shape now. Red near the rail at the bottom will be his last one to get onto the 8. Just wants to drop in the gap between those two yellows in the centre of the table. He just came through the gap and a little bit further than he would have wanted to. Played that really well indeed.
Yeah, a little bump off the centre pocket as well. He's done well on both sides.
That's more like the Jon McAllister we all know. Monster break from McAllister with a seriously good split as well. Reds look very nice indeed.
This feels a bit like more like Jon McAllister's turned up in this session. I know that he didn't take the run out a couple of frames ago, but it was a tough run out he was trying to take on. But you kind of get there's 2 or 3 visits so far in this session when you just come, he's won the frame already.
Extension called.
Trying to get the cue out far enough now. We can play the next red into the same pocket. Play that really well. Got the other yellow there as a buffer as well.
A very, very clinical finish, isn't it? Giving Anthony nothing really to give him a chance or a hope he can get back in here. Stretches the lead to 5. He's up next to conclude that match. The only way that you can see Anthony getting back into this one is just to find his game and start. He's going to have to put together a 4 or 5 pack here at some point because Jon's going to be playing too well. You can't see Jon making enough mistakes to keep him alive and in it. So he's going to have to find something, and that doesn't start with dry breaks. Oof. It does start with a big miss though from Jon.
That was one from earlier today. Well, he went into that red that's on the rail, but I don't think it's done him any favours. I wondered if he might have been better off getting behind it and then playing this red next with an angle to go towards the other one. Made a decent plot there, but where's that yellow going? I thought it might be going in front of the other red. Nothing particularly easy now, though, for Anthony.
He looked frustrated with where the yellow's gone, but even if that yellow just goes up the table, there was nothing coming next. Unless he was thinking about the cross double, maybe, but that still looks on to me.
But you look at that table now and you think it's not if, it's when Jon McAllister gets back to the table and with these yellows in front of him. Such a hard finish from here for Anthony Jeffers. And that is not going to be the order of the day. Well, he can pick and choose when he wants to break that 8 ball out. He might well do it now off this ball in the middle. That's where I'd be going. And that's lovely.
It should be another frame. He does have work to do. It's not absolutely routine. The one at the bottom you got to get to. The one, not sure it passes the red to top right, but shouldn't be too challenging for Jon. There you go. Perfect angle now to come down the table.
Yeah, just looking. Does he leave himself a double with the last yellow that's on the left-hand side of the table?
I think you just float above it, don't you?
And just get behind it.
I think it's far enough away that you wouldn't be too concerned. And he can do that, although this looks more like the double. No, he does come across top cushion and behind it.
And this is going to put Jon McAllister 1 away. Down goes the black. Jon McAllister wanders back to his chair. Dead straight cue ball coming back.
Oh, that's a nice looking break, isn't it? Oof. Tell you what, our robo-ref Dean must be setting the balls up well for them to explode like that. That was pretty impressive.
Robo-ref?
Robo-ref, yeah.
Because he looks like RoboCop.
Apparently so.
Peter Weller. There you go, that was the actor. Just in case you wanted to know. Full of useless information.
I've never seen it, so I couldn't tell you. He's barely going here, isn't he? He's just floating.
Yeah, no, that positional shot there itself has just opened the frame right up, even though it was open after his first shot. But just making it doubly easy now. Just drop-ins from McAllister.
There's no doubt about it. Jon McAllister is one of the favourites to win the Masters this year. Dealt with a few bits and pieces, didn't find his best form in the first session, but he's picked up as the match has gone on, and in the end he made it look all too easy out there. And Jon McAllister marches on. He's into the last 64. He'll be back again later on tonight. We'll hear from him after this break, and then we'll move on. Plenty more matches to see conclude here in the 1-2-8.